The following is an exclusive presentation of WI Garden Media, the voice of Garden Talk Radio.
Coming up on the program, it's our final show of Season 9. We're going to talk about buying seeds and starting them, as well as building raised bed garden boxes, and our fun segment, Chatter Spot, as well as some thank yous to dish out. The hour's full, so join us.
You are listening to the most informationally packed hour of garden-focused radio in the country and on the internet with your host, husband and wife team Joey and Holly Baird. This is the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
And welcome to another edition of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you along. I'm your host, Joey Baird. Beside me is my wife, co-host, best friend, and gardening partner,
Holly Baird.
This program is for you, about you, to help your garden grow better, to maintain your landscape, grow healthier trees, make your grass look greener, as well as preserving what you grow. Happy you're tuning in, whether you're doing such on one of the 20 AM and FM frequencies, broadcasting our program here in 2025 through a radio app, through our parent website, the WisconsinVegetableGardener.com, on the Season 9 tab at the top of the page, podcast replay, or in-studio video replay. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to partake in the activities, you can do such by sending us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com. That's gardentalkradio@gmail.com. Or you give us a call anytime, day or night. We'll get back to you in a timely fashion to 1-800-927-SHOW. 1-800-927-7469. And just so you're aware that those avenues of communication will be available all throughout our off-season now through the first weekend in March when we will return. We'll talk more about that later on in the program. But before we get into all of that, it's time for this week's Joke of the Week.
But what do you get when you divide the circumference of a pumpkin by its diameter?
Celery?
A pumpkin pie.
Oh, pumpkin pie. Okay.
Pumpkin pie.
I thought there was some weird, catchy vegetable something.
I was trying to go with like a pumpkin-y, like fall.
Oh, now you made us all do math.
Joke. Yeah, I guess. Okay. Anyway, this week's garden joke is brought to you by Rescue.com. American-made rescue products keep your family, home, and yard protected from pests such as wasps, hornets, yellow jackets, flies, ants, and more. Learn more at Rescue.com. That's RESCUE.com.
Well, we are going to talk about buying seeds and starting seeds. For many of you, you may already will be doing this before our show starts season 10, March, I believe it's March 7th of next year, the first weekend in March. So we're going to get a head start on this. Now, you can get all of your seeds currently, the current year, 2025, at jungseed.com, JUNGCEED.com, and you can use coupon code 15TG25 to save 15% on your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25. 15TG25 to save 15% on your order at jungseed.com. So come the new year, pay attention to our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, because that coupon code will change, but we still want you to be able to have that availability to get good seeds at a reduced price.
So now, obviously, we mentioned junk seeds, but there's nothing wrong with shopping around. Just make sure that you are finding a reputable seed supplier. Sometimes you might search a product online and it takes you to a website that doesn't look the greatest. So
it's a shady website.
In some ways you can tell the shady website is it might say like 5-star reviews, but there's no reviews.
No, they're 5 stars, but they're all like copy pasted and like embedded into the thing. If it looks shady or rare, that type of thing, it is a non-reliable site.
Like rainbow roses, right? Purple strawberries, whatever.
So
neon green watermelons.
Not all sites are going to have all available seeds that you want. Jungs may not have everything you want, but it's a good starting point. Places, again, if you're going to buy outside of the Jung seed realm, like you said, reputable seed companies And the best way to tell if they're reputable, if they've got a phone number, you call them up and somebody answers, and no disrespect to other nations, but it's an American talking to you in clean English.
Right. So also,
I mean, that's just the reality of it, because
also, you want to make sure that you are looking at the price. So you might see a pack of seeds for 99 cents, but it's only like 10 seeds.
Right.
As opposed to maybe you go somewhere else and it's 100 seeds for $3. Now, you might not need 100 seeds, and that's okay too, but these seeds are usually good for a couple of years.
Yeah, you keep them in a cool, dry place, like the crisper of the fridge, and like you said, a pack of tomatoes. Let's say you get 75 tomato seeds for $4.25.
Right.
Most people are going to plant 5 to 8 tomatoes out of that particular variety on an average year. Tomato seeds can stay viable for up to really 9 years if you take care of them. That's a longevity of seeds that you've invested. And in addition to saving the seeds from peppers or tomatoes from your garden.
Let's talk about that. Many people might still be saving seeds, so you can do that now. And also, when you start shopping for seeds, if you've already saved seeds, look to see what you have before you start buying seeds, because you could have a whole bunch of seeds and then you buy more seeds and you don't need those seeds. So for example, my dad gave me a whole bunch of poppy seeds. Not that I'm going to buy poppy seeds, but maybe I get a wild hair and I'm looking at seeds and I'm like, oh, I should buy some poppy seeds. I don't need to.
Yeah, and early in the season, whenever you get these seed catalogs from all of these companies, you get a little excited, and we all have the tendency of overbuying.
Right.
And you're all aware that $50 in today's money goes much different length in direction than 4 or 5 years ago in the seed realm itself. And
read the planting directions, because you might think, okay, I'm going to try this new thing this year. How hard could it be? I can just start it, whenever, blah, blah, blah. But there's certain seeds that you need to make sure you prep the soil. You started 10 weeks before, all this stuff. So make sure you have a plan, and you have, that if you have to start it 10 weeks before, that your seed starting area is going to be ready to go, and you have what you need.
Well, the seed starting area, let's talk about seed starting. You want good compost or good potting soil seed starting mix. All of those, we've used all of those. Those are all interchangeable. We've grown in 100% compost. We've grown in potting soil. We've grown in potting mix. The best thing in which you can use it, if you want to simplify it, the most easiest. Number one, if you go to your independent garden center, go and find the store brand potting soil seed starting mix. At a local one in our area, the name brand stuff is $25 for like 4 cubic feet, something crazy like that.
But you want to make sure it's the potting soil.
Potting mix, yeah. It was like, no, it's 1 cubic. Was it 1 cubic foot? Yeah, so. Because it used to be 2 cubic foot, and now they went down to 1 cubic foot of potting soil. The store brand is like $9. The name brand is between $18 and $28. It's all the same stuff.
Right. So yeah,
and sometimes, Holly, we went out to the compost bin on the porch and scooped out a compost and planted directly in that.
Right. Okay. So, but I also, on the flip side of that, I want to remind you. You get what you pay for. So you may find a deal at your local grocery store or
don't do it.
Drugstore or whatever. Be very cautious about that. You might think, oh, this is such a great deal. It's $1 a bag. And then I got this coupon. And then you go to start your seeds and it's a sad situation.
If it's $1 a bag that you're paying for, they paid much less, and they're making probably 75 cents a bag on it.
And it's like probably 75% sand or something.
Well, that was what we had purchased. That one,
Yes. Another thing I want to talk about is the peat pots, the expandable peat pots or the Jiffy Pops, whatever they call them. They're cute. They're fun. Kids like them. But they don't have any fertilizer in them. They literally just have peat moss.
Or cocoa coir.
Or cocoa coir. So you want to make sure after a couple weeks, you are fertilizing them with a liquid fertilizer. And then when you go to plant them, they say they're biodegradable, but you do need to remove that coating.
The netting. Whenever you decide to, and you can feed your plants just compost tea. Or if you're going to go the liquid fertilizer route, quarter strength of what the bottle actually says, because these plants are tender, you're going to burn them. If you just use compost tea, you can't overburn them because it's natural. So there's ways of making good, healthy compost tea in a very simplistic way that you can feed your plants, even your house plants. And then once the plants are in the ground, you can also do that as well.
So one thing I want to talk about for sure is where you're putting these seedlings. And
you mean your seed starting location and where they're going to live?
Or sorry, the seed starts. Yeah.
Where they're going to live in the home before you acclimate them to outdoors. That's what you're referring to.
Yes.
Okay.
So you may have a situation where you have a corner of your house dedicated to this, or some random areas by a window. You don't necessarily need a grow light. We started seeds for, I don't know, a handful of years.
At least 10.
Without a grow light. And grow lights are nice. They're helpful, etc.
They make a difference.
Yeah. But if you have like a south-facing window or even a western-facing window, you can start seeds just fine in that area. You would need to rotate the seed trays so that you're not getting the legginess, which is when the seeds grow really tall and thin and spindly. Another thing to keep in mind is your ambient temperature. You will have problems like dampening off, or even the seeds not starting germinating because if it's too cold. So you want to make sure you're about 68 degrees or above in the ambient temperature.
If you do not have that availability, if you're in an unclimatized greenhouse, cold basement with the grow lights, this is when you're going to need a seed starting mat, not a heat mat that you would put on your sore shoulder, because those you can't regulate the temperature and they shut off after a certain amount of time. Seed starting mats, they have a thermostat and a timer, and you can do everything precisely so you can do it correctly and get the seeds to germinate.
Right. So you want to keep this in mind, is that the seeds need hospitable conditions, I guess, if you want to say that. And that's very important.
So, seed starting, if you have questions, you can go to our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com. In the upper right box, the little magnifying glass, type in seed starting. You're going to have a gamut of different videos in which we have done over the last, 15 years, in order to help you get your seed starting off correctly. And a side note, you don't have to seed start. You can buy your starts, or you can plant them directly in the ground. And we've talked about that, and we'll cover that more in future episodes.
Absolutely. We're brought to you today by Walton's. We know you care about where your food comes from, canning, preserving, etc. At Walton's, they have everything to make seasoning supplies, to make sausage, jerky, and any other meat product your way to your high standards. They also have meat grinders, mixers, sausage stuffers, and more, and all the seasonings. You can go to waltonsinc.com and you can use code GROW50 to save 10% off your orders of $50 or more. That's waltonsinc.com. Walton's everything but the meat.
When we return, we're going to talk about raised bed gardening, building raised beds. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Have a garden question? Give Joey and Holly a call now or anytime 24/7. Just dial 1-800-927-SHOW. If you can't get through, leave a message and they will call you back. Call now, 1-800-927-SHOW.
Azure Standard is America's premier family-owned online store for organic foods and healthy products for your home and garden. They deliver directly to families and commercial customers through over 3,500 drop points across all 50 states. Azure Standards strives to make grocery shopping easy, bringing all your needs to one convenient pickup location. As a trusted national health food distributor, Azure Standard offers bulk and specialty health foods to communities nationwide. With over 12,000 products, each one is approved and carefully sampled to ensure the highest quality. Azure Standard holds firm to non-GMO, organic, and natural standards. From food and beauty products to household items, nutritional supplements, animal care, hobby supplies, and even garden essentials, Azure Standard truly has everything for your daily living. Visit azurestandard.com. That's AZURE standard.com. Use promo code Joey and Holly 15 at checkout to get 15% off for new customers who open an account for the first time and place a minimum order of $100 or more, shipped to a drop location of your choice. That's code Joey and Holly 15 at AzureStandard.com. Azure Standard is AZURE Standard.com.
Jung Seed Company is a family-owned and operated gardening company since 1907 with the largest selection of seeds and plants online. Use coupon code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at jungseed.com. That coupon code is 15TG25 to save 15% off your order at jungseed.com.
R.H. Shumway is a family-owned and operated gardening company with a large selection of seeds and plants online. You can use code 15TG25 to receive 15% off your order at rhshumway.com. That's code 15TG25. Garden like a pro in 3 easy steps and receive customized fertilizer recommendations for your garden or lawn. Soil Savvy helps you determine what nutrients your plants need to thrive. Never again over-apply nutrients they don't need. A patented process that makes you a smart gardener. To get your soil test kit, go to mysoilsavvy.com.
Do you have nuts or fruit in your yard? A Nut Wizard is a handy, effective tool that will pick up round or oval tree produce quickly and easily, leaving debris behind for a clean harvest. A Nut Wizard tool saves your back and your time. Visit nutwizard.com for more information. Wisconsin Greenhouse Company has custom-made greenhouses to suit your needs. Grow year-round. Strongest greenhouses that will last a lifetime. From agricultural to lounging to entertaining. For more information, go to wisconsingreenhousecompany.com.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, final show of season 9. Happy to have you back. Want more information about those coupon codes? Find them all at our parent website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the Money tab for coupon codes, which are valid through the end of the calendar year, and season 9 radio tab. Well, raised beds, people may choose to grow in raised beds for a number of reasons, and those reasons are valid to those individuals. However, building raised beds...
Let's talk about why you might build a raised bed. One, maybe you don't have the best soil, you don't know how your soil is, and you just want to build in raised beds. You want to invest in the process, and you are not able to dig where you're at for toxified soil, a lot of utilities under the ground. You don't want to, you rent. Have like something, you rent. You might have something where you have black walnut trees.
Yeah.
Things like that, or accessibility. It might be easier for you to build like a higher up raised bed to garden,
like 24 or 36 inches, and then fill it with the bottom with logs and stuff, and then put soil in the top 12, 16 inches. So there's many different tools in which you can utilize to build your raised beds. You can go and purchase lumber and use pressure treated 2x10s or 2x12s. You can use pine untreated lumber and coat it with Timber Pro Coatings USA internal wood stabilizer. You can buy prefab raised beds like you might get from different companies online.
Sometimes
OneSweetEarth.com, they have prefab 2 foot by 4 foot or 4 foot by 4 foot made in the USA raised beds.
Right. And sometimes you'll even see them on the side of the road where somebody has a little sign that says raised beds. I've seen them in on Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that, where somebody's making these raised beds.
Oh, you mean like you can buy them?
Yeah.
They're construction, and then you just go pick them up and slide them in the back on a trailer or something.
Right.
Okay.
You can even find, fun pop-up ones online as well. So those are some options for you. What you want to think about before you put your raised bed in?
Well, first, people may think pressure treated, nasty, bad.
Yeah.
It used to be pressure treated with arsenic. Then it went to copper in the early 2000s, and even studies today have shown that there is almost virtually no leakage or seepage of chemical from board to soil. And in today's modern pressure treated lumber, copper, which is an element of all life, it's not nearly as bad as the arsenic that was used in years gone by.
Right. So you want to think about the width of the raised bed. Now, you typically don't want to do more than 4 feet for the width. So you could do 3 or 4 feet for the width.
Why is
You
that?
want to be able to reach across it. So not that you can't reach across all 4 feet, unless maybe you have some very long arms. You want to be able to reach across to get to the middle at least.
You're not compressing, you're not putting your hands down or kneeling in the bed, compressing that soil.
So if you think I need this to be 3 feet wide, make it 3 feet wide, because maybe you have some mobility, maybe you are short, whatever it may be. I'm short, I get it. So maybe 3 feet is what you need, or maybe you have little helpers helping you, and 3 feet would be easier for them.
Now, in all the raised beds that we have built, we have brought in, popped up, filled with compost, raised bed mix. Over time, it does get dense.
Yes.
And you do have to, I don't know these individuals, on TV, you see, what they are doing is every year they're bringing in another 2 or 3 inches of compost and putting on top. And over the course of the year, watering and earthworms and microbes are pulling that nutrients and that compost down, which is breaking up the soil so it doesn't have the time in order to dense up. You and I and those of you who are listening, we may not be able to have the financial ability to bring in 2 or 3 cubic yards of compost every year at a cost of $100+ and delivery in order to top our raised beds off. So minimum amount of soil disturbance is up to the discretion of the gardener, whether you decide to go in there with a tiller or loosen it up with a broad fork or a garden fork to get some air in there to aerate that soil. That's up to you. But in our experience, there is a density factor that does occur over several years.
Absolutely. So yeah, you want to think about the compost, etc., the density factor. So before you place your raised beds, you want to think about the sunlight. Where is the sun hitting? And this is a good time to think about this, because there's probably still leaves on your trees, maybe not, but you can also kind of get an idea just by looking up and seeing, what's going to be shaded, what's not. Do I have a south side of the house that I can put this on? Do I have, north side of the home area is not the best, but you might get some east and west sunlight.
Look up, because you're going at the time of the sun, or the time of the midsummer, you're going to have long days and you're going to have shade coverage. Now, say shade coverage at a minimum of an hour or 2 or 3 based on where the tree is or the neighbor's tree, not detrimental to the plants in which you're growing. However, if you've got building on the west side and you've got a building on the east side and a tree above, and the sun's only getting to your garden between 11 and 10:30 and 12 and 2 and 3, you're not going to have very much success. You're going to have to figure out a possibility of a community garden or doing something different in order to get that available sunlight that is needed for these plants to produce correctly.
I really think that this might be the first step in building a raised bed, is thinking about where the heck you're going to put this thing. Because if it's not a viable option to put it somewhere, then you have to figure out another plan.
Well, we've had guests on this program where they had talked about moving to another house, and the first thing they looked at was, how does the sun lay in the backyard, and is it going to be good for gardening? And if it's not, we weren't going to move there.
Right, and I think that's a totally valid thing, and I would not be surprised if people made that decision. Even people who've built houses want to know, where they're going to put. They have a plan for whether it be gardens or
pools, spas, patios, saunas.
Something that, or even like a little pond. This is stuff that's important, especially if you're trying to have a home that you want to stay in for a while. Forever home. Moving is not fun, so it makes sense.
But you find a lot of things you didn't know you had.
Right. Like you just found a bushel earlier.
A bushel basket, yeah.
We're not moving.
No, but I was looking for something else and found it, and that'll work good for another project that I got.
Right. So anyway, so there's lots of things to consider when you are building a raised bed. Another thing would be to think about how much are you going to grow. So, and also if you are planning on moving at some point, whether it not be next year or something like that, but within the next few years, maybe you're transitioning in life where maybe your kids might be moving out. Yeah, you're downsizing, or the opposite, you're growing a family. you might want to consider that as well. Or you might think, okay, I promised my kids when they were 7, 5, and 10 that we could get a puppy. Not that the puppy is necessarily going to dig in the raised beds, but you don't know. It will. So, like, just stuff like that, that there could be some sort of life change, adjustment, what have you, and to keep that in mind. The good thing about building raised beds and having them is if you have, a couple of years where you're not as prolifically gardening, they're still going to be there.
Right. And with the raised beds, with all of this here, it's an investment. You're going to invest in either prefab raised beds, boards that you're going to bring in and build your own raised beds, irrigation system, because if you're going to do this, let's do it right the first time. That old adage, buy once, cry once, and have it forever.
Yeah.
An irrigation system. If you're going to do a raised bed, drip irrigation, you got to put that in. That's one goes with the other. There's no sense of trying to grow plants in a nice, fluffy soil raised bed if you're not even going to, if you don't have a consistent water to it.
Right, and the irrigation is very, very important, and I agree. It's something that makes a huge difference when it comes to watering your plants. Another thing to keep in mind is mulch. You want to make sure that you are able to mulch, and right now you want to collect as many leaves as you can because that's free mulch, free compost, etc. So that's something that if you currently have raised beds, you want to make sure you are putting that, or anywhere on your garden, do that as well. If you are, maybe you're new to gardening and you don't want to commit to a whole raised bed situation, you can grow in containers, 5-gallon buckets, straw bale method. There's options to get a feel for that before you...
Even a 4x4 area in the backyard, take us and spade it up.
Right. So there's that as well. Or the opposite, if you're like, I think I want raised beds, but this sounds like a commitment. Maybe I'm going to get a soil test instead and see if I can grow my soil.
Soil test from mysoilsavvy.com. You purchase the item, it's sent to your residence, you follow the instructions, you send it back to their lab, and they will email you 16 points of analyzation of what's good, what's bad, how to fix it, what to stop doing, what to do in order to get your soil. Because you can look at soil. You can look at plants growing in soil and go, something is off. That plant should be much greener than what it is. Or that plant is purple and that plant should not be. There's issues with it. Now, you can't determine, okay, that pH is XXX or whatever it is. It's 8.9 or whatever. You don't know all that. You don't know how much nitrogen's in the soil or lack thereof, or phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, sulfate. Also, you don't know.
There's these things where it's like, take a cup of soil and add a tablespoon of vinegar, and if it bubbles up, it means your soil is acidic or whatever. There may be truth to that.
Yes, but if we're going to do it, let's do it right. Let's do it once. It's like buying tools for the garden. Yes, you can go to the dollar store and buy an El Cheapo that will make you about 2 weeks in the garden. You got to buy again, or you can go buy a $80 or $90 top of the line hand forged tool that will never break, and you can use it for home defense, and you never have to worry about it. It'll pass down. It's like cast iron skillets. They'll never never break. It's what do you want to do? Add up the time and money in which you fight with the cheap stuff, and in 4 or 5 years you could have bought the really nice thing and been money ahead and been done with it.
Well, absolutely, and there's a lot of truth to that for a lot of
outside garden stuff, non-garden stuff,
non-garden stuff, etc. One thing I think to keep in mind also is, I know it's important to keep in mind, is how much space between the raised beds. So if you maybe use a riding lawnmower.
Yeah, minimum
3 feet.
Preferably 4.
Yeah, 4. But maybe you use a riding lawnmower and you know that you have to be able to get around that. You don't want to have to buy another lawnmower.
Well, and that's the thing.
Because of the raised bed.
With the gardens at your mom's house, that was something that, the width from bed to bed, we had that figured out. What we didn't figure out and what we failed to do, which it is able to work, is the distance from the property line to the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
It is just marginally enough to get that lawnmower, that push lawnmower, between the property line. We didn't think about, we need X amount more inches on this side so we can get turned into between the beds in order to cut the grass. That arching, that turning, that pushing that lawnmower so you don't have to lift it up, turn it off, lift it up, and get it in between the beds. That's a pain.
Right. So these are very important things to think about, and just how it's going to fit into what you already have. You don't want to have to buy something new or trade or something like that, because that's obviously very frustrating. Don't create more problems for yourself when you're trying to find a solution for yourself. Joey, summer is winding down, but just because it's fall, we don't want to forget about our yards and those Japanese beetles and other grubs. They may now be hidden, but they're not far. Not only did the beetles feast on your roses and berries this summer, they laid eggs in your turf so that they can invade your yard again next year. Fight back with Phylum's Grub Gone. Grub Gone is a non-chemical BT granule that applied to lawns and specifically targets scarab pests and their larvae with an 80% plus control even in the fall.
Holly, did you know that Grub Gone is the only non-chemical choice that effectively controls grubs, and when you combine it with the best chemical grub control at very low amounts, BioAdvanced grub control products, the tough-to-kill fall season grubs, are hit with a 1-2 punch that kills them at the best rate tested, nearly 100%. This combo of the best of biology and chemistry is called IPM, Integrated Pest Management, which is the best industry practice. Mix 1.25 pounds of each per 1,000 square feet equals 100% control. Grub Gone from Phylum Bioproducts, the best combination of safety and performance. Hang out with us. When we return, we're going to do a final segment this year of Chatter Spot. We'll explain what that is. It's fun questions that we ask each other and taking a different perspective on life. You're tuned into the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
4-Jar Canning Supply, your one-stop shop for all your canning needs, where old ways meet new in every jar. They are a family with decades of home canning experience, offering top-quality products and outstanding service. Never run out of canning lids again. Whether you're a seasoned canner or just starting out, their extensive range of canning products will elevate your canning game. 4Jars.com. Inspired by the homemade preserves of our childhoods, they want to share that same joy with you. They deeply care about your family's health and understand the importance of homemade, nutritious meals. That's why they offer high-quality products to help you preserve your food. Quality canning lids, pressure canners, vacuum seal machines, and all the tools you need to get the job done. 4Jars has you covered. Our canning lids provide the perfect airtight seal for any regular, wide, or gem-sized jar. With the thickest lids on the market, they provide long-lasting freshness, up to 18 months, and are rust-resistant, ensuring your preserves stay secure. Use code 4JARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars.com. That's FORJARS25 to save 10% off your order at 4jars, FORJARS.com. Check out ivorganics.com. It's America's leading garden product YouTube channel. IV Organic products are innovative, organic, effective, and proudly USA made to help you achieve your best growing season. Use coupon code RADIO10 at checkout and save 10% on your entire order at ivorganics.com. That coupon code again is RADIO10 to save 10% on your order at ivorganics.com.
Welcome back to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. Happy to have you around. Thank you so much for supporting the program this year, purchasing products from the companies that invest in the program financially to allow it to be heard on your station, your favorite station, this station, each and every week. Well, it's time for a final segment of Chatter Spot. Often we started this a couple of weeks ago when we had some vacancies in our third segment guest deal, or when we didn't have a third segment guest. So these are just fun little questions that compel us to think and, in some instances, appreciate life in a different manner. So I'll start with this one, Holly, and if you've got any, I don't know if you are contributing to any questions that you have thought of, but smells you do not like in everyday life.
Well, for me, I have some nasal allergies and sensitivities, so there's smells that I just don't like, and then there's ones that trigger sneezing and headaches and things like that. But I don't like car exhaust, especially when it's like very carbon heavy. You know, like the stinky car, I don't like that. That bothers me. People who are very heavily perfumed and they don't have.
Do people do that purposely because they don't want to shower, or they think that is really a really pleasant smell and they're like, oh, I want everybody to smell how good I smell?
I don't know, but I know that I've seen people, online influencers or whatever you call it, and they're showing these get ready with me videos and they're spraying themselves 7 times with perfume. Why do we need to spray ourselves 7 times with perfume?
I don't know.
It's a lot. So anyway, those are probably my 2 worst ones. I would say that I don't like the smell of vinegar. It's not my favorite smell, but I tolerate it.
The smell of rotten potatoes.
Oh yeah, that's awful.
That's horrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are a farmer or have been on a farm, the smell of rotten soybeans is a horrendous smell.
Yeah.
You take rotten potatoes and amplify that by about 150%. That's what rotten soybeans smell like.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
That sounds terrible.
I guess like tire smoke.
Yeah.
That's not very good.
Like the rubber smell?
The rubber smell, yeah. So yeah, those are mine. So this is kind of how this works. And if you're interested in one, and you like, I like this. We've had a couple of people voice in and really enjoy these segments. We will do this sporadically next year if that's something that you would like to hear. All right, things that scare you.
I live with generalized anxiety disorder, so a lot of stuff is makes me anxious, but I think one would be if I am walking on a trail in a more populated area.
You're a hiker. You're a hiker, yeah.
Yes. And I usually stick to trails that are, groomed and well maintained and, as safe as can be. But it would be coming across somebody who has a dog, and their dog, they're like, oh, he's friendly, and then the dog comes up to me and bites me. I do carry pepper spray when I go on these walks, so I would not. You can get mad at me, but I would pepper spray a dog if I had to.
Has a dog bit you before?
When I was very young, my neighbor had these German Shepherds, and they attacked me. I don't know if I had any major bites, but they knocked me down, and it was very scary. So, yeah. Experts,
and take this for however you think in an emergency, a lot of animal experts say that if you are being attacked, you want to hit the animal in the tender area, their eyes, their nose, something in their tissue, which
they're soft
tissue, because that is part of their. If I injure this, I'm not going to be able to find food or stuff.
Right, but I don't really like thinking about it. It is something that kind of scares me. What about you?
Bridges, hospitals. Don't care for either one of those. Getting T-boned. That's a fear.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know you didn't like lemonade a couple of weeks ago, so there you go. Checkmate. Flying, don't care for that at all.
Right. I don't like flying either.
Now, I've never been in a commercial aircraft. I've only been in single-engine Cessnas doing aerial photography in the early 2000s. And for the USDA, we'd run longitude lines. No, what's the one up and down? That's the longitude. Longitude.
Longitude.
And photograph every 0.8 of a mile from 5,000 to 8,000 feet for the Department of Agriculture to verify fields for farmers. I would much rather work 12 hours on the ground than fly 1 hour in a plane. Absolutely did not like it at all.
And why did you do that?
It was an experience. We flew and went to Ohio and Arkansas, Missouri, Indiana. I think that Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Elkinsville, West Virginia, where there's at that point, it's if you've ever been to if you've ever been to West Virginia, beautiful mountains, it's the Appalachians. That particular city has a junkyard on one end of the runway and a cemetery on the other. So The joke was the plane goes one way, the body goes the other.
Yeah. You know, for somebody who's scared of getting T-boned, you jumped the gun at green lights, and you're like, green, 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 go, go, go. You need to breathe for a second.
What is it? 1, 2, 3, stay alive. What is that saying that there are certain municipalities that are?
Well, that's usually for trains, I think.
Okay. All right. Simple things in life that you enjoy. I'll go first to give you a platform.
I don't think that was on our list.
No, I had a bonus one. Cars that when you lock, it goes beep instead of honk.
You like the beep versus
the beep is remember back in the day, and many of you listeners, whenever that was a thing that the alarm on the car, that like early 90s, burp, burp, and people would run over and say, "Are you okay?" And now it's like, "Turn it off." You know what I mean?
Yes.
Nobody. It makes no difference. It doesn't scare anybody. It just annoys everybody.
It annoys everybody. Yeah, it's like there's probably some psychological term for that.
But yeah, the pleasant sound of the car is locked because it went beep instead of honk. I like that.
Okay.
Not all cars are created equal.
What was the question?
Simple are things in. Let me read. Things in life. Simple things in life you enjoy.
For me, it's a nice ice cold water.
No lemonade because you don't like lemonade.
I don't like lemonade, no. But I like ice in my waters. Joey knows I love ice.
An ice production manufacturing system in the house. It's ice machine running all the time.
I like cold water. I don't want it to give me brain freeze, but I like it nice and cool. And that's something that's simple I enjoy. Or, being able to drink your cup of coffee while it's hot and drink the whole thing. Not scalding hot, but like nice hot.
Well, do you have issues of not being able to drink hot coffee when it's hot and you have to wait for it to cool?
I mean, sometimes like when I'm working, I'm drinking my coffee, I might get distracted, and then it's not that pleasant hotness.
A big glass of cold water on a really hot day. That's nice.
It is nice. Also,
working outside and then coming in and sitting in front of the air conditioner. That's nice.
It is nice. Yeah.
The old thought is, people back 100 years ago was much tougher. Well, they didn't know air conditioning. That was life. Right. It was hot outside and it was hot in the house. That's the way it was for summer. There was no, look, we can, the story is years ago, back on the old home place, there was a well behind the wash house. And the story was that if you got very rarely did great grandpa get a watermelon, and that was a rarity. So he would take the watermelon and hang it in a net, and then dangle it down in the well so it would chill, kind of like a refrigerator. And every once in a while, that net would break, and that watermelon would fall in the well, and didn't get no watermelon. Apparently, he was very angry when that happened.
Well, wouldn't you be angry if you were trying to cool your watermelon?
Well, I think after the first time, I'd be like, we're going to figure out a different place to put this watermelon. Put it in a bucket or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
TV lines or movie lines that will always stick with you. We got to keep it PG. We got to keep it G-rated. So,
I'm not really like a TV movie person that has these lines.
There's not certain lines that you just...
So, Joey knows this. I'm a big Gilmore Girls fan, and I think it's the final season. Lorelai, she's the mother. She's one of the main characters. She's trying to write a letter, and then the daughter was like, "Why don't you just put pen to paper?" And Lorelai, is very kind of a hyper person, maybe a little bit distractible like myself, and she's like, I tried that, and then she's like, my brain, it's like Casablanca, should I wear the white dress? And then at the end of this little like tangent she goes on what her brain is doing, then she's like hockey puck rattlesnake, hockey puck rattlesnake monkey underpants. And to me that's very funny because that's how my brain works. And it's just the last part is hockey puck, rattlesnake, monkey underpants.
If you're part of society, you'll probably know. Could I be wearing any more clothes?
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good one too from Friends.
Yeah. Where's the top of this muffin at?
Seinfeld. Yes.
Smokey and the Bandit, the first one. I got to go over to Kanye's tomorrow and pick up a load of manure.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Joey loves Smokey.
The first episode, or one of the first episodes of Gilmore Girls, the deer hit me. You hit a deer? No, a deer hit me. It ran into the side of the Jeep.
Yes, As we know, I love Gilmore Girls and Joey's watched plenty of it. And he likes the deer episode. So yeah.
But yeah, there's certain things that stick with you. What's the one that on Friends? Pudding, meat, or what?
The trifle.
The trifle, yeah.
He's like, meat good, jam good, pudding good. Yeah.
So there's iconic ones, and there's certain programs that it doesn't matter what ethnicity you are, what age you are. It is very universal that most all of society has seen it or seen some of it.
I kind of wonder, like, remember when we were kids and we only had, most people people had cable, but most people had network TV, and you would watch something on TV that night, and then you would go to school and you would say that tagline, whatever it was.
There was a girl that was a year younger in high school than I was. Yeah, she was a year, and we would watch Seinfeld, and the next day we would talk about it and use it. Yeah,
right. And it's like, I know that, I don't know if these younger kids have that or not, because they watch so much different stuff.
Kids today don't understand that it took us 10 years to watch all of Friends.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. They can do that in a weekend.
Yeah, and now, like, even music and stuff, there's certain songs that are trending, the songs that were big in the 90s.
And even in the 80s, they will play a little snippet at the end of one of these streaming things, and it will blow up on the top 40 charts for like 3 or 4 weeks, and like, where did that come from? And then there's a whole, like, what is it? Everybody Wants to Rule the World, or whatever that band was in the 80s. That was a big thing about 2 or 3 years ago that it just blew up. All right, uncommon animals that you find interesting.
I think that I find I like the American bison, the American buffalo, whatever you want to call it. I think it's an interesting animal. They've been around for a long time.
If you look at where they once was and the small little impact where they're at now, it's just incredible. And they were down to like 4,
right?
And we've brought them back to way high numbers. I mean, they were just shooting them like nobody's business,
right? Same thing with the condor. I don't know much about them, but they brought them back.
The California condor,
California condor, and now there's like certain areas where they're being encouraged to breed.
And it was because of the chemicals. Was the DDT?
Yeah.
Bats are fascinating. Most bats are not bloodsuckers. We've had guests on talking about they don't. They eat insects. They fly around at night. And owls. When you sit in the woods, if you're fortunate enough to be in the woods in the evening around a campfire at camp, and you have owls going, it is the most incredible noise that you ever can experience.
It's unreal. And you think, okay, I know what an owl sounds like because maybe you have heard one from far away, or because of TV or a movie or whatever, social media. But when it's like within
when it's 20 feet above you,
when you know it's like right by you, it sounds completely different.
One more quickly here. Is there a past sporting event that if you could teleport back into time that you would want to go and watch that event happen live?
All right, so I'm not a sports person. Joey knows I'm very minimally a sports person. I thought about this though because I am a Wisconsinite, and I don't even like football. But I would have gone to the Ice Bowl if I could have.
Yeah, that was like 64, 63, 64, something like that.
I think that is just like a pivotal, historic game, and it's just like 100% Green Bay Packer, Wisconsin, right on there.
I've got 2 of them. The 1979 Daytona 500, which most of the eastern seaboard was snowed in with 4 foot of snow, and that's when Cale Yarborough and Donnie Allison fought on the backstretch. They wrecked each other trying to win the race, and then Richard Petty won, and Darrell Waltrip finished second. That would have been a really cool one. And also, I believe it was the 1988 Saturday Night Main Event, WWE, when Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant fought on network NBC television, and 33.1 million people tuned in on a Saturday night to watch it. That was figured 1 out of every 3 homes, if you were driving down the road on that Saturday night, had that wrestling match turned on and watching.
That's crazy.
And I'm sure we were watching it too, because we have taped episodes back in that time frame. Well, that is Chatter Spot. Something different, something fun to talk about. Well, when we return, it's our final segment of our final show. We've got some thank yous to divvy out, and we'll be right back. You're tuned in to the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show.
Got a question for Joey and Holly? Send it via email anytime to gardentalkradio@gmail.com.
Good garden tools make gardening easier. Wisconsin-made Cobra Head tools simplify weeding, cultivating, digging, and planting. Favorites of professional gardeners, Cobra Head tools are durable, ergonomic, and easy to work with. Visit CobraHead.com and use coupon code SOIL for 10% off your order. David J. Frank, Southeastern Wisconsin's leading landscape company, is a landscaper you need. Their award-winning services include everything from lawn care, landscape maintenance, design, construction, renovation, irrigation, sustainability, and more. Big or small, let the experts at David J. Frank handle the hard work for you. Find out more at davidjfrank.com.
Mantis garden tiller cultivators are the perfect solution for any garden. With their gas-powered 2-cycle or 4-cycle engine, these powerful machines can till 9 or 16 inches of land without you breaking a sweat. And it doesn't stop there. Mantis's optional attachments allow you to aerate, plow, and more with a snap of a finger. Engineered with durability in mind, Mantis tiller cultivators will be your guaranteed garden companion for a long time. You can find more out and details at mantis.com.
A non-selective herbicide that is also USDA Bio-Preferred certified? You bet. Say goodbye to Roundup and hello to No More Weeds by Naturally Green Products. No More Weeds kills weeds with no harsh chemicals and no glyphosate. Safe around pets, No More Weeds has a proprietary sticking agent to use around gardens, pools, decks, patios, anywhere there are weeds. Available online at natgreenproducts.com, Amazon, and Walmart.com. Order yours today. The same great company that brings you no more bugs. Pomona's Universal Pectin is a high-quality pectin that gels reliably with low amounts of any sweetener. If you're trying to reduce the amount of sugar in your diet, you'll love Pomona's Universal Pectin. Now you can make healthy homemade jams and jellies sweetened to your taste. You can use sugar or honey to sweeten. Pomona's Universal Pectin keeps indefinitely when stored in an airtight container. Easy to use, versatile, and comes with directions and recipes in every box. Find out more and where to buy at PomonaPectin.com. Also available at natural food stores and online.
Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. It's our final segment of our final show for Season 9. We have completed another season of 35 episodes. This is our 315th overall episode over the 9 years in which we have done this. And that little intro, that's a little Easter egg for those who have participated in this final episode many years. It goes back all the way to 2020. The year, end of season 4. That is the only time that music is used the entire year. Just something for those who may find interesting. Well,
let me write that down in my diary.
Well, so there's a lot that goes on to make this show possible. Those of you who tune in each and every week and support the program by purchasing the sponsors that you hear, it makes a tremendous difference. That's why they continue to return year after year. We thank you for that. What you hear in this in this hour time each week is realistically about 5%, 3 to 5% of what we do in order to make this show happen. This is the easy part. Sitting here talking with you for 48 minutes a week, that is the easiest part of the whole deal. From August to March, August to April, we've got a major self-created database of corporations and companies, local and national, in which we reach out to and presenting our platform and what we are able to do to let their
find sponsors.
To find sponsors, these sponsors pay for the service in order to have them on the air, in order for us to pay for the airtime, because it is not free. And that is a lot of work. That is 95% of what goes on a daily basis. Not only editing the podcast and the in-studio video and all this other stuff, but also
we are grateful for those sponsors.
Yeah, absolutely.
They allow us to continue to do what we do, or Joey to do what he does, and then me as a support person. I have a full-time regular job. So. We
have some that's 6, 7, 8, and 9 years coming back for season 10. We want to thank our Lord and Savior for allowing us to do this. This all started on a take a leap of faith. Jeff Foxworthy is known for saying pinch your nose and jump moments in life. We tried this in 2016 16
yeah.
for 15 for 16, failed miserably, and then I got laid off from my job, and I said, let's try this again. Because
I did not want to give it a second try. I was so angry at Joey because I, at the time, worked part-time, and he was like, let's contact these sponsors, and we just flopped. We just failed. And I was so frustrated with him because he was frustrated with his job at that point. Him getting laid off was a blessing for many reasons, but one, for our marriage. He was frustrated with his job. I think he was feeling pressure, and then he was in turn putting some of that pressure on me to try to find these sponsors to do this radio show. And I was like, it's not happening, dude. And luckily,
because whenever you're dealing with people that are supporting the program and they say, hey, I want to, can you get on the phone call and give me a call or a Zoom meeting at 10:15 tomorrow morning? I can't. I'm working in a warehouse. Can we do it? That doesn't work. This is, you have to be ready at all times. Yeah.
So yeah, I was, when we were going to give this another try, I was like, no, we're not doing this. But then luckily, I guess, Joey got laid off, and he was able to take care of the attempts.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know. We did speak to some other people in the gardening radio show industry who gave us some pointers, which we also appreciate. And it's just turned into what it is now over the past almost 10 years. And it's kind of amazing. Yeah.
I've looked, and I may, the amount of, and I know television is very different than broadcast radio, but the amount of either radio shows or TV shows that has exceeded that 10-year mark is very, very small. I know Seinfeld ran 9 because there was some kind of theological thing that Jerry only wanted. But most shows on TV, you're looking at 3 to 5.
But like, that's, we can't compare ourselves to like sitcoms.
No, but radio, there's very few radio shows or series that last years and years and years.
Right. So I just want to say I'm grateful for my job, the company I work for, that I continue to stay employed, because it allows us to have a good baseline of some financial security. So I am truly grateful for that. And also, I don't want to work for myself. I like to work for somebody else. And I am very grateful for that as well. I've been able to work at that position throughout the pandemic, throughout, the last few years, even before that. And I have really good coworkers, I have really good managers, so I'm grateful for that, of course.
And we do this in our home studio, which is the best decision we ever made.
Yes.
We decided that right before in 2020. We didn't know COVID was 2019.
Yeah.
We didn't know COVID was going to exist, and it got so hectic with all the stations we're on. We said we're going to do this from home, and it really worked out really well.
Right. I don't miss going to the station on Saturday mornings, and then there was we didn't know what the situation was going to be, so I don't miss that.
But you are able to, us doing this as long as we have, you are able to know certain things that I don't. I told you once, and you're like, okay, I know what to do in these certain situations, in regards to getting guests locked in, making sure that they are going to, right numbers to call when we have guests, and the questions that we're going to ask, and we know all that stuff. So
that's one thing that I, as much as I enjoy writing the questions for the guests and the intros for our 17 weeks off or however long it is, I don't miss that. I like doing it and everything, but I don't miss it.
We've had stations say, "Hey, why don't you run year round?" Well,
what are we going to talk about in January?
Well, and that was one of the things that I have. We were informed by a couple of the individuals that we had communications with that was in the industry. Gardening is not really a topic of interest. The last in Thanksgiving week or week of Christmas or end of the year. There's a specific time in which it's good. You guys want to listen, you want to engage, and there's times where we need to go our separate ways, and we'll connect again when that time comes.
Right, and I'm grateful for the guests. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, we're
very grateful.
We learn a lot from those guests.
Absolutely, it's a lot of fun. But again, I just I appreciate the 17-week break. I know that it's not that I don't enjoy doing this. It's just that it's a reset. It would be so stale if we had to do this year round. So
for you, the listeners, because we just we
would just be talking about
anything to just fill that we don't want to do that.
Oh, there's no more snow on the ground or whatever. Yeah. I just wanted to say, as always, I'm grateful for the support people in my life, my friends, and things like that. It's nice, even if they don't directly, are asking every week about the radio show or anything like that, but usually they, are like, how'd it go? Occasionally, whatever. And the woman that you hear who does the intro outro, she's one of my best friends, and she's great support as well, and I'm always grateful for that.
So, we took a leap of faith, and that's a whole part of life, is taking the faith in which we need in order to make things happen. I want to thank you, Holly, for being the co-host.
I'm making a face at Joey. I'm just a co-host?
Yeah, the co-host, best friend, gardening partner, wife.
Maybe support.
Yeah, well, support, wife, and support should be in our
block to give run questions by, and yes, I'm grateful for you, Joey, that you are able to do this, and it makes our life much happier.
See, I grew up on a farm where
Joey's not used to working for people.
No, I grew up on a farm where we worked for ourselves, and it had to get done. You did it yourself, and you knew you did it right. You didn't have to rely on somebody else to do it.
Right, and I can understand that. It's a difference. Working for somebody else is different than working for yourself.
And you who are listening that are in the working realm of the America economy, some of you've got bosses that are absolutely idiots that have no business being in that position, and you want
they fail up.
You want to be like in WWE where you get to hit a chair over the boss's head, and everybody cheers. We've all been there. We all know what we're talking about. Well, we certainly thank you for tuning in. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for listening to us throughout the year. And until next year, be safe out there. If you see something, say something. Check on your neighbors. And we will see you in the garden next March. I'm Joy Baird.
I'm Holly Baird.
And this has been the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show.